Keeping your business healthy in today's marketplace can be a challenging and overwhelming task. From the threat of litigation inside and outside your organization and the inefficiencies that can rob your bottom line as a result of unproven marketing programs, the deck can be stacked against you. To get ahead of these challenges and stay ahead of your competition, the Bottled Business Sense Show provides practical business solutions that uniquely emphasize key legal principles, management techniques, and marketing strategies to protect and ensure the longevity of your business. You'll learn how to implement marketing and protection principles equal to those used by today's most successful corporations. Join your host, Bill Bernard, Rick Moscoso, and Steve Smith for some high-energy discussion that will inspire you to take control of your business so it can prosper in today's consistently challenging business environment.
Well, good morning, everybody. This is Bill Bernard, one of your co-hosts of the Bottled Business Sense Show. We're here again on Tuesday morning. And this is a very special show, in fact, a relaunch of the show. We've talked about it for the last few weeks now. In addition to my regular co-host, Rick Moscoso, we are welcoming a new co-host and great addition to the show, Mr. Steve Smith. He is making his first appearance on the show as a co-host. He's been on before as a guest, of course, and we're really excited to have Steve on. And you know, I have to apologize ahead of time, everyone. We're having a little technical difficulties on my end. Unfortunately, we're not on the Starship Enterprise, and we're going to have to deal with whatever happens here. So my apologies up front. But let me just say a quick hello to both our guys. Rick, how are you? Steve, welcome aboard. Glad to be here and glad to have you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for inviting me to do this. I'm looking forward to it. I think you guys make a great, you have great energy going now. So I'm just hoping I'll be able to add to it.
Well, we got it all over Laurel and Hardy, don't we, Rick?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, welcome, Steve. It's going to be this will be a fun run. I mean, we had a great first year, Bill and I, with the show, and we're looking forward to more great times and great information from the three amigos as people see us here on the Hangout.
Does that mean
That's
we
right.
get hats?
yeah, we'll have to work on that. But that
Right.
That would be kind of funny, wouldn't it? Well, we're going to get right into it because I know we've got a great topic today, and it essentially is going to deal with video marketing. And I know Rick's done a lot of hard work on this for many years, and there's no better expert to talk about this. And maybe you want to just fill us in real quick, Rick, on what the topic is today, if you would.
Yeah, the topic for today really is media distribution, and why is it important to share your message effectively, and really, for the people out there who are doing video marketing, they have a pretty good idea as far as distribution. They know what platforms to go to, where to post to, how to get the most play out of their videos that they produce and want people to see. But for those of you who are just looking into it, or maybe you've only done one video, and you think the sole posting of that video to your website is going to gain traction and get you all kinds of traffic, or additional sales and products, or likes, or whatever it happens to be, that's really not the best thing to do, and quite frankly, it might even be a waste of time, because you'll be disappointed to know that you won't get as much traction without the proper distribution. So, before we go into the distribution channel and how to do that effectively, you really have to have a primary objective for your video, for creating the video in the first place. What are you going to use it for, right? Is it going to be to gain credibility or build credibility? Is it going to be to pitch a product or service? Is it just an educational piece that you've done that you just want to inform your audience to, and just provide unbelievable value to them? So,
and it's really all about focus, isn't it, Rick?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we talked a little bit about this in a previous episode, but without that proper focus, and just the sole purpose of creating the video isn't going to really do you much unless you understand who you're talking to, why you're talking to them, and what you want them to do as a result of watching your, your video. So,
okay, Rick, let me jump in here and ask you this, because I know a lot of people that do video production work, and I've had many of them do videos for me. But the one thing that everybody gets into the discussion about is, what message you want to say, where do you want to shoot the thing. And obviously you have editing to consider, but very few of these folks, even the professionals, spend a whole lot of time talking about a distribution strategy. So why is that? I mean, are they just not interested in that, or they look to the person who's the subject of the video to be responsible for that? Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem like it gets a lot of discussion from other professionals.
Yeah, that's a good point. In my experience before I started doing video production, I found the same thing, and I was really surprised that no one actually took it to the next level, right? There's guys out there that are doing great distribution of their written content already. You would think that the guys that are doing video production would learn or would have learned the same process, but there seems to be a disconnect in there. Unless you are doing distribution marketing for your content, the guys that are just now getting into video, it's a whole different animal. It's a whole nother focus, and if you're a solopreneur, video producer, you're really focused on just creating the content and say, okay, here, Mr. Business Guy, here's your piece. Go ahead and have at it.
Yeah, but don't you think that with the popularity of video to the point now where it's almost become an essential, like people having websites for their business, don't you think there's a huge misconception out there that if you produce a really good video and it's got a really good message, that all you got to do is put it on YouTube and you'll end up going viral?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's such a small percentage of those small little snippets that end up going viral that it's and it's so commonplace to expect that, because you see it so rampant on Facebook or online or on YouTube, where somebody's short little funny video all of a sudden went mega viral. But that's for lack of better words, it's just lucky that happened. From a business, go ahead.
Yeah, here's what I'd like to know, Rick. Is there really a distinction between the primary objectives you have when you create a video? For example, is driving more traffic to your website, building credibility, building your email marketing list, are those really separate and distinct types of videos, or do you accomplish all of those things in the same video?
That's pretty difficult to do in a short video. In a short video, I typically mean 30 seconds to 2 minutes, or maybe even 3 minutes, the longest. You have too many options in there. If you include too many options in there, you'll lose the focus, or the you'll lose the audience, because there's really no focus in your message. So you can have a short video for each one of these things. Each one of these things is going to have a different purpose, and each one of these is also going to be distributed on a different platform, on a different media platform, or a different distribution channel. So you really need to. I think people are more successful, and Steve, you probably know this just as well, that without the focus in the purpose of the video, it's going to be difficult to really focus your distribution or your viewership towards that specific audience.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think if you're just trying to introduce yourself, or in my own case, I've done how-to videos on marketing and on leadership and things like that. Obviously, my intent is for business people that are looking for that kind of information to watch it. But you could be a contractor, or let's say you fix pools. And there's some little maintenance things that that people just really don't want to pay for, and that everybody would do that if they just knew how. So you make a little quick fix-it video for that particular item, and you're not only educating people, but you're showing them that you're enough of an expert that you're willing to share, that when they try it and they mess it up, they're going to call you anyway. So that's a great example of having a traffic building strategy behind a how-to video. But I think, again, for most of the people that I've run into that have created a video and they send you a link and they want to know what you think of their new video, where they post it is the last place it sits. And you know that's not the only thing you have to do with a video. So what else do you do with videos?
Yeah, that's a great question. So again, it really depends on the purpose of the video. Obviously, if you're just wanting to build an email list, or you just want to create awareness, it depending upon the trade or the service or the profession that you're in, it may go to some business related website, like let's say for instance Google Plus or LinkedIn, right? Those have very high authority scoring rates where like-minded people, if you're in the professional services, you'll have pretty good viewership from there if you do a video correctly. If it's a professional video and you paste it on you link it through Facebook, you might get some viewership out of that, but I don't know how much mileage that's going to get you, because it's not really a focused platform for professional services as compared to a platform like LinkedIn. So
well, let me pose this question to both you and Steve, Rick, and that is, I get it when it comes to platforms and how you use them, but why couldn't one video simultaneously, let's take Steve examples of a how-to video, why couldn't that how-to video simultaneously accomplish the purposes of driving more traffic to your website, build credibility, and build your email marketing list all in one fell swoop? Why wouldn't one video be able to do that?
Well, there's no reason why it couldn't. It depends on how you wrap it. Like, let's say for instance you wrap that in YouTube, right? And you want, number one, you're trying to create visibility. You're trying to get them. Actually, what you're trying to do is get them to link back to your website to see all your stuff. And if your message is good enough, they may do that. The conversion rate usually isn't that high unless it's a compelling enough message. And then if you're trying to get them to subscribe to your service or subscribe to your email list or newsletter, you've got to get them back to your website anyway. Now you can get them to subscribe to your channel, but there's all kinds of strategies that you can use to do that. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Steve?
I was just going to say, Bill, a lot of the things that you mentioned, building the credibility, building the traffic to your website, maybe building your email list, those are all what I call byproducts of having a successful distribution strategy, whether you're distributing video or you're distributing article content. The thing you got to think about is, based on why you're cutting the video, is largely going to determine who's going to watch it. And because the first time somebody connects with your video, let's say they find you on YouTube, they might watch the video and leave, and that's the end of it. So you'll never know who they are. All you know is that somebody watched your video. They could go down into the body of your description and click on a link that might take them to your website. And from there, they might see something on your website to sign up and download. So now you have a little bit of you've got a trail in terms of what that video did. They could, from YouTube, they could subscribe to your channel. So now any future videos you put on there, they're going to automatically see. So depending on why people watch it and what they do as a result of it, largely determines whether that placement and the type of video you have there has served any purpose.
Okay, so distribution then is the key, because that's going to determine that's going to determine the things that I asked about. In other words, maybe I was putting the cart before the horse, talking about all of these different types of focus, when really, if you do a video that's of high quality, and you have a goal in mind and you distribute it properly, the end result could be several different advantages. It could drive more traffic, it could build your credibility, and it could build your email marketing list all at the same time. Am I on the right track there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I guess the point of all of this is if we go back to just the basics, right? For the beginner who's done no videos before, or maybe few videos before, and now they've had somebody come out and shoot an anchor video or a why hire me type of video, a credibility building type of piece. They post it on their website, and that's all the further it goes, right? There's no more eyeballs on that video than there was before on the website before that video was on there, right? It's not shared it to any distribution channel. It's not shared to any social platform, business page, anything like that. It's basically not broadcast to the world outside of that homepage or About Me page on their website. So it's really about...
And I think... Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, this really comes down to a picture's worth 1,000 words. If you have the right person behind the camera that's going to be able to put those words into a story that you want to tell, and that really is the key. And I might just remind our viewers and listeners that when you do this on top of this stuff, remember, if you're going to use anybody's likeness in the video besides your own, get their permission. Don't be defaming other competitors and saying nasty things. Make sure your video focuses solely on you and the message that you want to impart upon your potential clients.
Hey, Bill, I'm going to use your example. Okay, the picture is worth 1,000 words.
Right.
Let's just say you have a screenshot of the front of your video. That's your vehicle. Okay. The example of just posting it on your website and not doing anything else with it would be the equivalent of putting it on the desk, your office desk, and leaving it there for you to look at every day. Whereas posting posting it around the internet in various places, LinkedIn, Google+, YouTube, Tumblr, some of these other websites that get pretty wide distribution, would be the equivalent of taking that photo and putting it in People magazine. A lot more people are going to see it in a published magazine that has wide-based distribution that a lot of people are going to get their hands on. How many people are going to see it if it's on your desk?
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so then the question is that most people ask me is that, okay, outside of my website, and where else am I going to post this, right? And again, it goes back to the purpose of it. But let's just say for the purpose of discussion, it's a professional service type of piece. It has a little bit of there's a little credibility flavor to it, an about me type of flavor to it, and you want it to point back to your website. So, for those types of people, LinkedIn's a great place to start. You can put it on your personal page, or better yet, I would put it on your business Facebook page, because it's more professional. It's probably a better platform than putting it next to all your kitty photos and you hanging out drunk at the lake. But you certainly want to drip this out. And what I mean by drip is that, and I know both of you guys do this, is that if you have several platforms that you publish stuff to or want to publish stuff to, I would not recommend doing it all at once, all at the same time. It may sound simpler to do that all within within the 20 minutes, because it won't take you very long. But I think you would get better traction, because there's sometimes an overlap in all these different platforms, from LinkedIn to Facebook to Google+, and wherever you're distributing. So your friends or your business colleagues sometimes overlap there. Better yet, what I would recommend is drip this out over time, like throughout the week, on different platforms on different days. That way, your piece kind of stretches a little bit longer, gets more traction throughout the whole week versus that one day. Because if you're doing this to Facebook, you're off the feed, you're off the grid, like in a matter of a half an hour, and really no one's going to see it.
Yes.
With LinkedIn, it's just like a blog post. It's there on your page. Google Plus, the same thing. So you have better stickability with these other platforms than you would with Facebook. So I guess the point is, drip it out over a couple of days. It won't take you very much longer than it would trying to do it all in one fell swoop. That way you get longer traction from the piece that you're marketing.
Yeah,
and I know we're coming up on some time issue here, but I did want to say one more thing. But go ahead, Steve. What were you going to add?
Well, if you're going to do this well, you have to be consistent with it. You can't just be a one video, publisher and that's it. You have to think beyond that into a series, maybe 4, 5, 6 videos, because it's that multiple video appearance that gets you the traction. So if you're on your very first video, here's what I do. First thing I do after I publish it on my website, because I want Google to know the origin of the video. Okay, so I put it on my website. I let Google know that it's just been posted so they can rank it. I will go to LinkedIn and I will publish the video in the summary part of my profile. A lot of people don't realize this, but when you're in the edit mode in summary, there's a little icon in there that gives you the option to post either pictures or videos. And if you post the video, every time somebody comes to your profile and they read your summary, the video is sitting right there waiting for them to watch it. I get a lot of hits like that.
Yeah.
The second thing I do,
that's valuable.
The second thing I do is I take it and I post it on Google Plus, on my Google Plus business page. Why? Because Google Plus ranks everything that you post on your page instantly. And if you're trying to work on local search engine ranking optimization, local search, that's a great way to boost your local search appeal. You know what I'm talking about. When somebody goes and says, hey, I'm looking for a business attorney in Mission Viejo or Orange County, when that results come up, the first things you see right underneath the advertisements at the very top, in that middle section there with all the little red push pins, that's all local search. Those are all people who have established their businesses on Google's map system. And so the more that you put into your Google Plus page that feeds that local search, the more you rise up the top of that little pushpin list. So you can get a lot of value if you just know where to put these things after you've cut the video.
And here's a question I think that maybe some of our listeners and viewers might be wondering. When you post, Rick and Steve, when you post these videos on Google Plus, on LinkedIn, on your website, is there a way to add keywords for SEO benefit that is actually a part of the video that you're able to somehow add in for Google to pick up on, or is that something that you can't do when you just place a video on a particular page? I know you can do it on YouTube, but let's say you put a video on your website. Can you go about adding keywords that are going to be said in the video? Will that add to your SEO ability?
Sure, and now it all depends where on your website you're putting it. So if it's on a static page, then you use keywords in the description or the body of content that's below or around the video. If it's on a post, then obviously there's an area with, you can use a simple plugin called Yoast and use that to help with your SEO abilities. It allows you to enter tags, keywords, phrases, and it'll actually show you a description of what that search would look like. It would have the title and then a small little short blurb of like 156 characters of the description of what the topic is that you're going to speak about. So, two different ways to do it. This way, with a post, you're going to have that video sitting on its own little specific page with all its customized SEO keywords, tags, and content.
Hey, Bill, here's a tip. And it was told to me a couple of years ago, and it's great. I just find so much value in doing this. But if you're at a point where you've got your first video, maybe you've loaded it up to your website and to YouTube, okay? And you're trying to figure out, what else do I do with this? Find another business in your category, somebody that you would consider a really top-notch competitor, okay? And go search on their website to see if you can find a video that they have on there. Once you find that, go back into Google and use the title of their video, the page that they put it on, and search that in Google. And what will happen is you'll find every reference that they've got out there on the internet where they've placed that same video in other places, and it gives you a roadmap of all the places their video is at. So if why try to reinvent the wheel? If you know a competitor that's really way ahead of you with this, what you really want to find out is, where are their videos?
Yep.
So you just do a little research and find out all the places they've got their videos sitting. Look, if you're a contractor, you might be on Yelp, you might be in Home Advisor, you might be in a number of other places where people would go looking for contractors. Lawyers are the same way. There's a whole bunch of lawyer websites out there. You've just got to figure out the combination of places that other people have gone, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have to follow that specifically, but it will tell you where they're showing up. And that way you can pick and choose the places you want to show up as well.
A good way a good place to start for that, and I'll just give you a final tip here, is to Steve's point, you can go to a website called similarweb.com. That's similarweb.com. And you type in the URL of your competitor as somebody that you're researching. If they're popular enough, they will show up some general analytics. Now, for free, it's also a paid thing. Where if you're a bigger company, you could invest in that, but it'll show you where the traffic is typically coming from a competitor or from the URL that you entered in. Is it being referred from outside sources? Is it from paid sources? Is it being referred from social media? Where are they getting their traction from with the ads that they're putting out there or the exposure that they're having out there in the web? So check it out. It's a really cool tool. It can tell you a little bit about the marketing of a specific company, maybe somebody that's similar to yours, and may give you some clues on how to get the same type of traction by using the same type of keywords by posting to the same distribution channels that they may be doing, right?
Yeah, look, I totally agree with doing any type of research that's going to give you an idea of where to take your material. I mean, think of it this way. If you're going to pay a quality video production company, $1,500, $1,800 or more dollars to cut a 3-minute video, okay, which is probably a little on the steep side for a small business, but it's there, and plenty of people I know have invested in it. If you're going to spend that kind of money to create the media vehicle, the video, don't shortcut the distribution process, because if only a handful of people see it, then it's giving you no marketing value at all.
Yep, that's I totally agree with that, and it's really not that overwhelming to implement a lot of this stuff. Take baby steps when you do it. After your first piece, get it to your website, get it onto some social platforms, get it onto your LinkedIn if that's applicable to your business, get it on your Facebook business page, and just get it out there on other platforms other than just the page on your website, because you will start to get some traction. You may not right away because it's a process, right? One video is not going to make you a millionaire, but 10, 15, 20, 100 may get you the client that you're looking for. So just like Steve had mentioned, be consistent with it and put it on as many platforms that are applicable for you.
Well, listen, this has been a great show, Rick. I think that these tips are invaluable. I think the difference, I wish we had more time to discuss really why somebody should come to somebody like you, why a business person should come to somebody like you versus doing their own, videos on YouTube and posting them. And I think hopefully the show has impressed upon people why you need to go to a professional to get the direction that you need to be able to do this. But having said that, again, I think I want our viewers and listeners to know that we're trying to keep the shows a little shorter. We're going to try to do more frequent shows during the week, and we're going to try to bring you topics that are very practical and that you can implement into your business acumen. And so with that, I want to again thank you, Rick, for a great show, and Steve for your input. Another big hooray for having Steve on board and being on the show. And we'll see everyone next week. We're looking forward to really relaunching this show in a big way. So again, guys, thanks very much, and we'll see everyone very soon.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bill. Appreciate it. Nice job, Rick.
Yeah, thank you.